Wow, the lovely Kim Samantha Ramsey. She is laying it all out here today, people, and talking about a very interesting and important subject, PGAD, Persistent Genital Arousal Disorder. She's a registered nurse out of New Jersey, and an activist of PGAD. I believe, Kim, you said there is a support group that you are the administrator of.
Yeah, I'm one of the administrators. Excuse me, I'm still just eating my potatoes. The support group is the PGAD support group for men and women. We are in real time. There's a number of us. One of us is on the East Coast. That's me. There's somebody in London. There is also an administrator in Canada, and there's also an administrator in California. So by default, we actually have a large quantity of the time zones covered. So you can reach out to any of us. There's also a place where you can get support.
Say the name of the group again.
If you was to go into your search engine on Facebook, it would be the PGAD, P-G-A-D, P as in Peter, G as in George, A as in Apple, D as in David, support group for men and women. And we do a formal screening process because unfortunately the media has come in as pretended to be a patient, and we have to screen you to find out what your symptoms are so that we can actually formally accept you into the group. And then you can find out, you know, a little bit more about the disorder, what people have done to help themselves, what, you know, in terms of treatments. We also have access to a doctor database and a healthcare provider database. So we have access to sex therapists, physiotherapists, doctors, specialists, some neuro. We're actually planning to do research with the Kinsey Institute, which is the premier sexual health institute for the United States. And there's also a Queen's University in Toronto, Canada, is at present conducting a PGAD research survey, which is about 37 pages, because they're trying to find out more about the disorder. What they're looking for is a trend that we all have, or whether or not we are all extremely unique.
Okay, we talked quite a bit about how it affects women. And noticed in the title of your group, it says for men and women.
Right.
Can you talk to us a little bit about how it affects men, and and even go into some of the symptoms, like you said, when you're screening people to get into the group? What are some of the symptoms that people who may be watching this, they can say, well, you know, I have some of those, you know, symptoms.
Whatever the symptoms you have, if you have persistent genital arousal, and that's, I mean, if you feel sensations, whether they be painful, whether they're unwanted, the key word is unwanted or unbidden. Unbidden means that you didn't think it up, it's not your intention, it's an involuntary response, it's painful, it's uncomfortable.
Does frequency factor in?
Frequency can. I mean, you could have an episode that lasts 2-3 days, and then you may not have anything for 3 or 4 months.
Because I'm wondering if that's how sometimes people look at it and say, oh, that's normal. You know, I get urges every once in a while.
No, these are relentless. These are the urges will not be triggered by anything. There's no intention behind it. So and I think that's what scares a lot of people, because if you're washing your child and you know that you're not a pedophile, but you get these sensations, it makes you feel uncomfortable, and it messes with your moral conscience, because you know that this is not the way in which you live. For men, they tend to get erections that will not go away, or they have semi-flaccid penises, and they may actually have partial ejaculation, so you feel like you're not fully ejaculating, and this can be continual, so they have to wear diapers, or they have issues where they can't urinate properly, and they have continual erection, but not an erection like a priapism. Also, when they have sexual activity, they don't ejaculate. So you're looking at hours and hours and hours and hours, and it's not being relieved.
Wow.
There is always, intense pain.
But
And I guess they could go into the bracket of priapism if the erection doesn't come down.
Wow, forget some of the things that Jamaicans, and I'm talking to y'all right now, the stone and the stud 100 and the shiny brush and the Indian guy. You forget about all of them things there.
We forget about them, there's something there. Yeah. I just say when you're using these performance enhancing substances, be very mindful that some of it, I know there's medication that women want to take. There's also women that practice certain tantric movements, but you have the ability to turn it off. I don't, right now, I don't. So I would be very, very, cautious if something like, there's something what they call maca root. Maca root. And you can take maca root, but when you're taking a lot of these performance enhancing substances, it also raises your blood pressure. The neurological expert from the Kinsey Institute, she said that orgasms work on this natural hormone called oxytocin and vasopressin. Now, I recognize both of them because we use them both in the emergency room. Oxytocin is Pitocin. So when a woman has a baby, we put it in a bag of Ringer's lactate, 20 units, and we run it through and it helps to contract her uterus. So what am I talking about? Squeezing the blood vessels. Vasopressin, we also use that to help in a cardiac arrest. You give one dose of 40 units, if I remember correctly, and that helps to squeeze and contract the blood vessels. So if I'm constantly releasing this, and I'm shooting up my blood pressure and I'm racing my heart. So when you're taking these types of things, a man can shoot his blood pressure up very high based on the back of using these substances.
That goes for all you black ant stakers. I've heard stories about this thing they call black ants.
What's that?
It's like this pill that supposedly you take it and it works to keep you desensitized. I don't know how it works, or maybe it releases more nitrogen in your blood or whatever. So, as a man you perform longer. Right. But I've heard stories from people who said they've taken it and their hearts are racing like racehorses.
Yes, terrible.
You know what I mean?
Well, let's look back to I think it was Reno, Nevada, with Lamar Odom, who actually took a natural herb type Viagra, but he took 10 of them. So let's just put all of these drugs away and let's ask ourselves, what is it that you're trying to achieve in the bedroom? Is it not a loving experience, or are we going into battle? Why? I understand the need for stamina and to feel good, but to the detriment of your cardiovascular system. And we all know what happened to Lamar Odom. He's very fortunate he had excellent healthcare, and his wife came in and helped him to recover. And the doctors in Vegas did a damn good job. But what about you? What do you need these things for?
Exactly. I think a lot of times when it comes to sex, a lot of it is psychological. You'll have
performance anxiety.
Yeah, but we have all the psychological setup by women and men. Women who tell a man, "Oh, I don't want no 2-minute man. I want somebody who can stay upon it long."
Okay. I got you.
You don't want no teeny weeny, right? So a man is going into the whole thing feeling like, damn man, I don't want to be laughed at. I don't want to be a disappointment. I want to...
Yeah, but isn't it more to do with how we engage? Because we're just looking at it in a physical sense. What about when you engage with somebody spiritually? What about taking your time? Why does there have to be so much onus on penis-vagina sex? Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? I do. Like, why do we have to connect like that? If you're feeling performance anxiety, or if you're going to feel that the woman's going to embarrass you, then are you really ready to go into a relationship with them?
That's a good question. I mean, I think again, we gotta just like take away some of these silly things that we put ourselves through,
Right.
as men and women.
Yeah.
Because like if you notice how a man, if a man has sex with you as a woman,
Right.
and he enjoys it, it
Right.
makes you feel good that he enjoys it, doesn't it?
Of course.
If I'm telling you, say a thing are the tightest thing and the best thing, oh my God. You say, yo, your thing mad, right? Now, what if he tells you it wasn't that good? You
know
feel
what?
like crap.
You would feel uncomfortable, but it would take. It's pretty brutal if a man says, "Rah, it weren't all of that." You know what I mean? Like you could have done this, but I think that we enter it as a battle when it shouldn't be a
And
battle.
that's what
It
it
should
is.
be. You know, you get all these men have performance enhancers, but so do women. You know, they have yoni eggs, they have this, but what about connecting with me spiritually?
Exactly.
Why do we have to have a physical connection? Why can't we have a spiritual one as well?
And I think a lot of times the reason why that is because people who are having sex don't have that real connection. You know what I mean? A lot of times you're having sex with people that you don't really have any connection with. It's mostly physiological. You know, you like the way they look, or
Yeah,
they
their
like the way
body
you
shape
look.
is right, and this
They
and
say,
that.
you know, you might just be in a particular mindset or mind frame, and you as a consenting person, a person who, you know, you're not a little kid, so nobody not necessarily tricking you. You're doing what you want to do as a
Okay.
man or a woman.
Okay.
So you say, you go out there and you say, I want to get fucked. I want to fuck, you know what I mean, whatever. Right?
But is it that you want to get fucked, or is it that you want to feel close to somebody? Yeah, there's days when you want to have strong intimacy, but there's days when you want to be treated in the correct way. I look at things with regards to sexually transmitted diseases, which we as black people seem to top the charts in the health statistics. So you ask yourself, we have an increased rate of gonorrhea, increased rate of chlamydia. Is it that we just don't want to take a good look at our genitals? Like, you got guys who, do you pull back your foreskin when you give it a wash? You know, because those things are what carry diseases or bacterias. You got women who douche the hell out of their vaginal cavity and take away the natural pH and the natural flora that lives there because they want to smell fresh. Well, if you were taking care of yourself, you know, there's complicated situations that people can get themselves into in regards to the person has an STD, they tell the partner, or they're too scared to tell the partner, or the person may have more than one partner and they're not honest with all partners. We are living in a very complicated and complex time of sexual deceit.
Yep.
There's a lot of people that are involved in intimate situations, and people say, well, you know what, if I had this, I would definitely tell. No, there's a lot of people that have things that are really not curable and they do not tell.
Exactly.
So it is up to us to be more honest in our life circumstances. And yes, I think you need to talk to one of my peers about non-monogamy, because we in the black community have a lot of non-monogamous situations, which I know they had a poll or a survey. I think it was, I can't remember what religion, but they came into Jamaica and the lady was saying that, you know, women should get used to sharing a man, and people said, no, man, I do that. No, I do that. There's something there. But some people are doing that. You know, it is accepted in, I think it was the late President Mitterrand. Now, his wife, when he died, his wife and his mistress walked behind his coffin. Okay, so, you know, I do get the monogamous role, I get it, but there are also other ways to engage. There's what they call an extra-dyadic circumstance, more than two, extra-dyadic. There are other situations that exist, and it's not for me to look down or frown upon, because everybody wants to belong. Everybody wants to be in a loving situation. So I think that we as people have to be more honest. But when it comes to the diseases, I think that, you know, there's a lot of scorn or people let things go to the point where they don't take care of themselves. You as a woman and you as a man, if you are engaging in sexual activity, you need to have good genital care. It's just a basic. Don't be, scrimping in your washing, or don't overwash. A man needs to take a good look at himself and get regular checkups. If you are engaging in intimacy with unprotected sex with more than one partner, do not leave it on the woman to get the testing. Both of you do. I have met people where they say, yeah man, she cleans and me must clean. No, it don't work that way. No sir, it don't work so. No work so.
This, Kim, I gotta integrate this right here.
Thank you.
This is what goes around, and this is what we talk about in this movie. I don't mean to be a shameless plugger right here, but I'm going to shameless plug because that's what the movie talks about.
Yeah.
It talks about promiscuity, about unprotected sex, and about raising the awareness of the different STDs, including HIV, and how it impacts us as a community.
Right.
Just like how you said, you look at a woman or a man, and because they look attractive, oh, he must be clean, she must be clean. It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way. So make sure y'all check this out too. What goes around. I'm gonna plug it every chance I get, y'all, and it's available at sunrisesun.com. So
yeah.
But Kim, I really enjoy this conversation. I mean, this is like, I think this is a conversation.
We're having a grown-up conversation.
Yes.
I mean, come on, look how old we are. Look how grey I am. If we can't talk about this as adults, how do you think our kids are talking about it? If I had kids, I would say I would want my child to be educated. What you have to worry about is that pornography is free. It's not like when I was growing up. When I grew up in England, so you'd be in the sweet shop and the man would be outside and he'd waiting for you, and we'd wait for him and we'd look at him. I grew up when they put dirty magazines on the top shelf and then when the man bought it, he put it into a brown paper bag. Them days, X them out, they're gone. Now you can drop porn right into your 8-year-old's cell phone.
Yep.
This is what we're talking about. So my thing is, if you are not having this conversation with your child, someone else will. That's a problem, because there's somebody else who is not as who doesn't have your child's best interests at heart. It's unscrupulous. That's why we do have human trafficking. And human trafficking, Jamaica is one of the countries that does take human trafficking. It's on the list of countries that, we have the New Jersey has access to a large quantity of ports, highways, roadways, and people's children are getting snatched up. I used to just think it was foreign born, but actually it's a large quantity of American children. Do not underestimate or lower the value of a person based on the fact that they've had a lot of sex, because that's how people get killed. Because when you don't value them, they get led into a lifestyle that does not suit them. There is nobody that I do know people who are sex workers. Is their life different to mine? Yes. Do I judge them for it? No. This is the lifestyle that they choose to do. But I'm not going to sit here and say
their life doesn't matter.
That their life doesn't matter. Because if that was the case, then we wouldn't have had, I think Canada had a man called, his name was, I want to say Pickett or Picot. And this man killed 49 sex workers. 49. And if you can look him up, there was another man, and he was called the Green River Killer. And he killed nearly 100 black women. So this is someone's daughter, someone's mother, someone's sister. Do not underestimate and lower the value of a black woman based on the fact that her morals is different to yours. It's not right, and we as black people should not be doing that.
All right, so let's wrap it up now. And anything else that you want to say to anybody, any information you want to give out?
I would just like you to, if you feel that you know somebody, or this person is beginning to worry about themselves, so give them the PGAD website. Let them reach out, and we can see what we can do to help support them, because it is a frightening experience. It is, until you actually get full understanding of what's happening to your body and how to manage some of the triggers, how to manage some of the flares. It can be a very cruel disorder to experience alone. I don't want no one isolated. I'm trying to stop people from killing themselves. Please help me do that. I'm not asking for much, but please.
Well, thank you. That was Kim Samantha Ramsey, and this is That Night. Peace out.